Today I am in a 2016 Audi Q5. This type of crossover, a German-made or German branded car, is getting really big in the United States. You know, smaller four-door SUVs with small 2-liter turbocharged engines or 3-liter turbocharged engines, just smaller engines, higher miles per gallon, are getting really big for the younger generation, for me I should say, or the older one I technically could say. It's just the fact that you're getting a reliable vehicle that won't break your bank and can hold, you know, a family of 4, a dog in the back, can hold cargo, you can fold the back seats down, pretty much do anything you want to do with this in a reason. You know, it is small, it's not a full-size SUV like the Q7 would be. It's just 2 rows. It doesn't have a 3rd row in there, just because there is, I open up the trunk space, there's quite a bit of trunk space. I don't have an exact cubic inch of trunk space, but you know, there is enough room back there to fit say you're moving a small apartment. I would say you could make it in a couple of trips. So like I said, this is a small 2-liter turbocharged engine, only puts out 220 horsepower at 4,500 RPM and something like 250, 260 for torque at only 1,000, following the newer style of cars that have a 7-speed or an 8-speed dual clutch that has a smaller turbocharged engine, can produce smaller torque numbers, or can produce smaller numbers at lower RPMs, which in return is this. You know, my car, I said the max torque kicks in at 1,200 versus, you know, you look at a car like the Hellcat, the Charger and Challenger Hellcats, that the max torque output doesn't come in until higher up the tachometer. So numbers aren't too big in this car, which necessarily you don't want high numbers. This isn't a performance car. This isn't, you know, a car you want to take to all across. This isn't a car you want to take to the track. You can. I'm not saying you can't. This is a car you just don't want to. I wouldn't, at least. You know, it does have some get up and go to it. You know, but it's meant for, it's a luxury crossover. It's an Audi. It's a Volkswagen, you can say. It's a Porsche, you can say. This comes in a couple different variants. This is the 2-liter turbo premium. There is also a 2-liter turbo base model. Then there is the 3-liter turboed, which is just I would say a base model for the 3-liter, and then there's the 3-liter premium / S line you can get, because you know how every Audi has the S lines you can buy, which I would say they are, if you're not looking to break the bank with buying the S's, such as the S4 or the S6, the S line will give you the same interior and exterior, I would say, just not the features like the engine or anything else that the S's would have, and you're not breaking the bank when you're doing it. It will hurt your bank just a little bit. The car starts at 40 grand. I think it was in between 40 and 41 depending on where I looked. I mean, if this is what you want to spend your 40 grand on, yeah, you can. My car, like I said, is $43,000. So if you want, you know, something more sporty, go with the Benz. The car does weigh 4 grand, so I mean, you might have to think about it. I mean, it's an SUV. You gotta think about that when you're doing twisties and stuff like that. But it has something. The reason why I couldn't say no to this car is because it has one thing that Audis are known for, and they're known for being the greatest in the world. It has Quattro. And if you do not know what Quattro is, let me tell you, you have never heard of all-wheel drive until you've driven in a Quattro. If you don't want to spend the $40,000, but you like this type, the Q3 and the Q5, you like that type of style, there is, like I said, the Volkswagen. Or if you want to spend more than the Audi, but you like the Q3 or the Q5, there's always the Porsche. So one thing with Volkswagen Group that I do like is there's options for everybody. There's options for the people looking for their first car, and there's options for people that want to spend, you know, $100,000 on a car. Like I said, I mentioned it with that cars nowadays are coming with 7 speeds and 8 speeds, and they're dual clutch. This is in fact an 8-speed dual clutch. Audis are known for having most of their cars nowadays are 8 speeds. So this is an 8-speed. It is a dual clutch, so it is quick shifts. It doesn't have paddles. You don't need paddles, but in case you do need them, it's got where you can switch into gears and use it down here on the stick. It also does have the option to drop into sport, which I was playing around with sport a little bit. Sport compared to drive is nothing to write home about. There's no different whatsoever. I mean, maybe the gearing was a little aggressive. Usually when you kick it in a sport, or if it's just a drivetrain, you know, usually the gearing gets a little more aggressive versus when it's the whole car you put in sport, such as, you know, AMGs or your RSs. The whole car, suspension, steering, everything gets more aggressive. Well, I put this thing in sport, and let's just say it didn't do nothing. The lag is really bad on this, but you know, it's the turbo is geared for the higher gears up, not the lower gears so much, and it took about almost $3,000 for the turbo to kick in, which is not very impressive, I would say, which resembles into its MPGs. You buy a car like this, a crossover with a smaller turbocharged engine to get better gas mileages. It's 20 in the city, 28 on highways. So I mean, like, I think my first car, a Chrysler Sebring, had better than, or was around that. So man, it's not the greatest, but hey, it's an SUV. You don't, if you're buying an SUV, if you're buying an SUV that's not a hybrid, and if you do buy an SUV that's a hybrid, it just deceives the point whatsoever. You have an SUV. Why do you need a hybrid? But if you're buying an SUV, you're buying an SUV because you do not care about gas mileage. You care about the open space, the comfort of it. If you buy a Prius, you care about your gas. I don't. I drive a car that is a gas guzzler that requires 93 octane, and I burn through it a lot because I'm a driver, not a tree hugger. Competitors of this car, like I said, you have the Volkswagen, you have the Q3, you have the Porsches, you have the Jaguar, best name ever for a car, F-Pace, you have the Jag, you have the Mercedes GLC, the GLE, the GLK, you have all those that are all small crossovers. Then you have the BMW X3 and X4. You know, there's tons of crossovers. I just named all the European ones, but you know, of course there's Chevy, GMC, Cadillac, you know, the GM brands. There's Ford, there's everything. You name it, there's a little bit of it. Everybody and anybody who makes cars has a crossover. Things I don't really like about this car, when I mean I really don't like it, the engine. I don't like the engine whatsoever. I think, knowing Audi, Audi makes one of my favorite engines in the whole world, the 4.2 V8 and the 5.2 V10, and then we get this turbocharged 2-liter engine. But hey, like I said, they want to keep down on gas mileages. They want to do this, they want to do that. They want this to be a consumer car. Things that I do like about this car, it feels high class for the price. Alright guys, I'm stuck in traffic, so we're going to end this video now. This has been my review on the Audi Q5.
I've been searching for the river in the skies, but I really can't find that trust.